how do I graph a piecewise function? They look pretty crazy, right? Well, remember, a piecewise function just says from -4 to 1, I only want to see this function, and from 1 to 4, I only want to see this function. That's all we do. So the first thing that I do, especially when I'm starting out with piecewise functions, is I graph both of the functions completely. So I'm going to start, and we're going to do this one as the red function. So I graph this function. This is a line with a slope of -2 that has an intercept of 1, so it goes right here, and then it goes down 2 over to the right 1, down 2, right 1. So I have this line right here. Okay, so that's my function for the red one. And then the purple one, it says 6. What does that mean? Well, remember, this is the same as f of x equals 6 and f of x equals -2x plus 1. This is just written where the f of x is out there. So really f of x equals 6. Remember, f of x is just another fancy name for y. So this is just y equals 6. So we can graph that line, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's this line right here. Okay. So now comes the fancy piecewise part, because remember, I don't want to see both of these functions for the whole thing. I only want to see the red function when x is in between -4 and 1. So I take my highlighter and I go in between -4 and +1. I want to see the red function. So in this part, I want to see the red function. I don't want to see the red function any other place other than in this highlighted part, in this domain, -4 to 1. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to just, if you had a pencil, you could just erase this stuff, but I don't have that luxury, so I'm just going to go here. Oops. I'm going to take my pen, and at x equals -4, I'm going to do there, and then at 1, I'm going to find the function there, and then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to graph that line. So I'm just going to draw over that line so that I can erase the other one. Okay, so then I went ahead and erased the line because I only want to see that function there. Now the last thing that I need to think about is, do I include -4 and do I include -1? This says when x is greater than -4 and less than 1, so I do not want to include -4 in this. So I don't want to have a closed circle here. I actually want to have an open circle at -4 because it says I want to get really close to -4, but I don't actually want to have -4. And same for -1. Or I keep saying -1, but I mean +1. See if I can. Whoop, I can't just, this is like super finicky, so I can't just erase the little dot. All right, that's going to be as good as I can get. We're going to make this, I'm just going to draw over it with a black one, that should be an open circle at 1 and an open circle at -4. So that's the first part of my piecewise function. It's the first piece. Let's look at the second piece. Well, the second piece says I want 6, but only when x is in between 1 and 4. So starting at 1, and see, I'm going to do this with my highlighter. I'm going to grab my highlighter and I'm going to say, okay, so from 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here, I want to see the purple function, okay? And only right here. I don't want to see the purple function any other place. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my line there, and I'm going to look right now and see, oh, I don't include 1 and I don't include 4. So I'm going to have an open circle because I have less than, not less than or equal to, and then over here, and then I have an open circle because I have less than on that as well. So I can erase the original function, and all I have left is here. Now I have a piecewise function. I can erase my highlighting. And this is my piecewise function because from -4 to 1, I see this function, and from 1 to 4, I see this function. Let's try another one. So the first function is going to be my red function. The second function is going to be my purple function. Let's go ahead and graph them. So first, the first one's a little tricky because it's got an intercept of 11. And I'm like, ooh, but I don't have 11 on my graph. I only have 10. So for this one, what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to imagine that I have 11. So I'm going to come up here to the point 0, 11, and I'm going to graph it anyway. And then I'm going to go down from there. So remember, this has a positive 3 slope, which means we go up 3, right 1, or, because that's positive, positive, or we have to go negative, negative, so we have to go down 3, left 1. So since I can't go up 3, right 1, I'm going to have to go down 3, left 1. So I go down 3, 1, 2, 3, left 1, down 3, 2, 3, left 1, down 3. All right, so I'm just going to keep graphing this until I get through. All right. See if I can get a nice straight line out of that. Nope. Try again. Okay. Well, it's not that straight, but it's good enough. Okay, there's my somewhat straight line. That's my red function. And now I'm going to do the purple function. Now this one's a little tricky because it has an intercept of negative 38. So I can't even really like go 38 and then just start counting up. So let's make a table of values for this one. Okay, this will help us figure out where everything is. When x equals 0, y equals negative 38. And I know that because the intercept is negative 38, which tells me when x equals 0, y equals negative 38. And it has a slope of 6, which means my y goes up 6 when my x goes up 1. Y goes up 6 when x goes up 1. So let's go ahead and do that. When x adds 1, y is going to add 6. That didn't really look very nice. Okay, so x adds 1. Y adds 6, so we're at negative 32. We're going to add 1. And then over here we're adding 6 because that's what the slope really means. So then we're at negative 26. So then negative 20, negative 14, negative 8. And that would be 3, 4, 5, negative 2. 4. Okay, so all I keep doing is just adding 6, going, basically this is saying going up 6, right 1, okay? So now I have some points that I can actually graph on my graph. So I go here, let's see, to negative 8. So I have positive 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 8. So that's here. And then the next one I have is 6, negative 2. And then 7, 4. Okay, so here's my line here. And I check my lines just to make sure they both look like they have positive slopes. Yep, we're good. Okay, so now I have the two graphs graphed, and I just need to figure out which piece of the graph I'm actually going to see. So let's start with the purple one. The purple one I only want to see when x is greater than 5. So I come over here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here, I want to see the function here. This is where x is greater than 5 on my graph. And this is the only part of the function that I want to see. I don't want to see any other part of the function. So I'm going to come down here to the point when x equals 5. I'm going to start here. Okay. And it says only greater than 5, not equal to 5. So I'm going to do an open circle. Wrong pen. Open circle. You know, I'll just do this one in black so you can see the open circle. And then it goes all the way to infinity, right? Because it's from x is greater than 5 for the rest of time. It doesn't have a top value. So it's going to be like that. I can go ahead and erase all of that part of the function because I don't want to see any of that anymore. And now I look at the other piece. Well, at that piece, I want to have when x is less than negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I only want to see this part of the graph over here. This is the only part of the graph that I want to see. So again, if you had an eraser, you could just literally erase the piece that wasn't in the colored spot. But since I don't have that, I'm just going to go ahead and draw it here. So I need an open circle because again, it's less than negative 5, not equal to negative 5. So I'm going to have an open circle, and then it wants all the numbers less than 5. Less than negative 5, which is to the left. And then I can just erase all of that. So this is my piecewise function. I see this function when x is less than -5, and I see this function when x is greater than 5.